had the return of college football last weekend, and Thursday we have 3 ranked games. West Virginia at 17th ranked Pitt at the stadium, formerly known as Heinz Field. We won't talk about that. Central Michigan at 12th ranked Oklahoma State, and VMI at 22nd ranked Wake Forest. Let's welcome in 2 of the guys behind the Cover 3 podcast here, going through some of those notable games on Thursday. Those are just a handful of them. Let's start with West Virginia at Pitt. The return of the backyard brawl since 2011. Pitt, of course, moving on from Kenny Pickett. He will be there at the game. He predicted 31-10. Pitt is favored by 7. The total is 51. Chip Patterson, we'll start with you.
I'll take that because that would mean that my pick here is a winner. I'm going with the under, baby. They don't call it the backyard shootout. They don't call it the backyard light up the scoreboard. This is a brawl. This is a series in which the most legendary game in series history was 13-9. If you think that Pat Narduzzi is not built to be able to turn this thing into a low-scoring grinder, then you do not know the Pittsburgh Panthers head coach. And I do think that while there is plenty of intrigue at the quarterback position, with both West Virginia and Pitt trotting out former USC quarterbacks, JT Daniels for West Virginia, Keaton Slovis for Pitt, I think that it is going to be a game where the defenses rule the day. Pitt's defensive line is absolutely terrific. West Virginia has not been a team that has been offensively powered recently. So I think all that chalks up to a game that is probably going to be decided somewhere in the 40s. Give me the under in West Virginia Pitt.
Yeah, well, I appreciate its confidence in Pitt's ability to cover the spread in this game. I'm with you, Chip. I think the under is the best play here. You talked about Pitt's defense. The defensive line is one of the best in the ACC. And while they're losing a lot on the offensive side of the ball, they do return plenty of talent on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that's going to be the unit that leads the Panthers. And plus, we heard Pat Narduzzi talk this offseason. Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator who helped lead Kenny Pickett to a Heisman ceremony, helped lead Jordan Addison to the Biletnikoff Award, and helped lead the team to an ACC title. Pat Narduzzi's happy he's gone because it means he gets to run the ball more. He did not like how often Mark Whipple was throwing the ball around the field. So I think we're going to see a return to more of the older school kind of defense and run the ball approach that Pitt had originally under Narduzzi. And as you mentioned, Chip, West Virginia's offense, Neil Brown was hired from Troy to fix the offense at West Virginia and give them an exciting offense. He hasn't given it to him yet. So until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. Give me the under.
Let's go to Penn State at Purdue here. Penn State not ranked for the first time since 2016. You do get the return of quarterback Sean Clifford. He is embracing the hashtag old man. He is putting it now on his post on Instagram there. It is Penn State favored by 3, and this one, the total is 54 and a hook. Tom, we'll go to you.
I love it when 22-year-olds consider themselves old.
I think maybe 24, great. But still super young.
This is the narrative battle for me because all offseason I have been the one crying that Penn State is being underrated after a down year and Purdue is being overrated after a strong year. And I think that's going to show out on Thursday night. I'm taking Penn State. I believe in Sean Clifford. We saw it this weekend with Northwestern. Ryan Helinski, for the first time in his career, was in the same offense with the same playbook and the same play caller, and he played fantastic against Nebraska. This is the first time Sean Clifford will start a new season with the same offense, the same playbook, and the same play caller. And I think the Penn State offense is going to take a step forward this season. I think adding Noah Singleton at running back is going to be huge for them, and that it's going to take some of the load off of Clifford's shoulders. I think the defense will be fine. And for Purdue, they were fantastic last season, but Purdue, in my eyes, is not a program that is at the level yet where they can lose their best player on offense in David Bell, their best player on defense in George Karlaftis, and just replace them and keep going at the same level they were. They're going to score points because Jeff Brom is too good of a play caller and Aiden O'Connell is a good quarterback, but I don't think they're nearly as good as Penn State, and I think that's going to show on Thursday night. I think the Nittany Lions are going to go on the road, win this game, and cover the spread.
Yeah, let me throw another exit on there. A wide receiver coach that you lost to Washington as well, who helped develop not just David Bell, but Rondale Moore and sort of everything that we've seen from that group. But as you mentioned, Tom, if it's Jeff Brom, we expect that you're going to be able to score points. It's going to be Penn State's offense that I also think is going to be able to take a huge step forward. I think Parker Washington's going to be able to be a difference maker at the wide receiver position. I, too, am just buzzing at the potential of Singleton's instant impact effect. I mean, we have not seen Penn State with a really quality run game in quite some time, despite having a lot of good blue chip recruits in that room. Some of it because of injury, but some of it just didn't pan out. But I think that, especially here at the beginning of the season, with a full bill of health, with a deeper room, Sean Clifford's going to get more help from the ground game. We are going to see him be able to be more comfortable throwing the ball. And like Tom said, when you go all offseason talking yourself into these positions, like Penn State is going to be the third best team in the Big Ten East, it's going to exceed its win total, that Purdue might have a bigger adjustment from a very good 2021 season because of how important those players, George Karlaftis and David Bell, have been. I think that this is going to be a Penn State win. That is not to say that I do not think that Purdue is going to be competitive. I think this game is going to be fantastic, but at 3 points, line a little bit too little. I'll take the Nittany Lions to cover that number.
Let's go from a little line to a very, very big one here. We have Ball State at Tennessee. First time these two teams have ever met. Tennessee returning 15 starters. The Volunteers favored by 33 and a hook. Chip, I want to start with you because we saw the Florida A&M against North Carolina. That line was 45. I believe I was listening to your podcast. We know the Rattlers are missing a bunch of players. Somebody, I think, took the 45. It didn't hit. What about the 33 and a half?
I did not. I said stay away from that. You don't want to be any part of that game. But this one, I do have a feeling that Tennessee is going to be able to score a whole bunch of points. If you want my best play, I would wait until we get the team totals out, and I would go with a Tennessee team total over. But currently where we've got this number, with it being under 5 touchdowns, that key number of 35, I'd go ahead and lay those points with the Vols, because if there's one thing that I'm very confident about in this game, it is that Hendon Hooker, Cedric Tillman, and this Tennessee passing attack is going to absolutely cook against Ball State. There is a schematic advantage. There is an athletic advantage. And it's going to come out to Tennessee probably scoring somewhere between 45 and 56 points. So do I think that Tennessee's defense is going to be markedly improved from where it was a year ago as one of the worst defenses in the SEC? I'm not ready to commit to that in SEC play, but I think I feel a little bit more confident that they can show improvement, maybe give some fans some hope about that when they go up against the likes of Ball State. So for right now at 33.5, I'll take Tennessee, but I'll say that my best play is going to be the Tennessee team total over when it becomes available later in the week.
You're a brave man, Chip Patterson, because there is no way I am trusting that Tennessee defense to cover a spread that large. So I'm just going to go with what I think is the obvious play. Give me the over. Josh Heupel was hired at Tennessee to put forth a fun offense and score a lot of points, and that's exactly what he did in year one. And I don't think anything's going to be different for the home opener on Thursday night against a Ball State team that the Vols are expected to crush. I think the Vols are going to score, like you said, Chip, at least 45 points. They might get into the 50s. I don't know if Ball State will get a single stop all night. I just don't know that Tennessee's defense is going to get a single stop either, because it sure didn't get many of them last year. And even if they improve a little bit, that's still bad overall. So I think that the over 68 is an obvious play here. This is going to be a high-scoring, crazy game.
As I mentioned, we get a bunch of games on Thursday. These are just a handful of them. If you're looking at the slate overall, your best bet, Tom, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Oklahoma State and Central Michigan, a bit of a revenge game for the Cowboys. A few years ago, Central Michigan went to Stillwater, took the Cowboys down. I don't think that we're going to see a repeat performance of that on Thursday, but I do think that this is a Central Michigan team that was one of the better squads in the MAC last year. Jim McElwain has proven time and again at different schools that he's an excellent game day football coach. And I have concerns about the Oklahoma State offense because it was not that explosive last season. It was a team led by its defense, but defensive coordinator Jim Knowles has since left to take the Ohio State job. And while Derek Mason has plenty of experience as a solid defensive coordinator, this first game in charge at Oklahoma State, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to pull too far away from the Chips, so I'm going to take Central Michigan plus 21 points.
I'm going to go right back to a game I discussed earlier. I will be on Penn State. -3 is my best bet. If you trot this thing out at 7.5, anywhere above a touchdown, I might be a little less confident, not calling it my best bet, but anything under a touchdown, I feel very, very good about laying these points with Penn State. When you look at a week 1 game, you need to understand that the line has been out for a very long time. The numbers have been set. And if you believe that Penn State is better than the market value, which I do, then now is the time to get in, because the number will adjust after Penn State comes out, shows its improvement offensively, shows that it was so much better than the 7-6 record that we saw in 2021. Now is the time to get it. I think that Penn State's probably about a touchdown better. And so at just a field goal, it is my favorite play of Thursday night.
Chip and Tom, enjoy Thursday. Enjoy Saturday for that matter. Can't wait for that to be here as well. Two of the guys behind the Cover 3 podcast. Latest couple episodes you can find there. Breaking down week 0. Also taking a look ahead to week 1. This is the podcast you need to have for all things college football. Make sure to download and follow. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.